Okay, good morning, good morning. Mic check, should be able to hear and also see. Welcome, welcome. Mr. Blue here, TradePhantoms.com. Hopefully y'all are well and trading well. Okay, cool. Today's date, November 19th, brings us to a Tuesday, 2024. And let's dive in. Good morning, Ravi, Aaron, Pinsky, Dylan. Carpe Diem sees the day. And looks like we might be good to go just with this right here. Little cricket here. Spent about an hour together. That's the best I'm gonna get it there. All right, let's dive in. People are kind of scrambling in. Good morning, good morning. All right, Mr. Blue, for about an hour, some pre-market prep. And kind of see what it's about, see what it's like. For the first 1 hour. All right, TradePhantoms.com here, right? And I'll just start this off. So we do have a couple of just backdrop news with, if you don't know, Russia, Ukraine, fiasco there. Futures are down. I'm gonna get to the charts in a moment. Today is in terms of news outside of this is scheduled news here. Not really much, right? Other than what's going on right now with Ukraine and Russia. Just a couple of talks there, right? So chirping. So futures are down. But as far as scheduled news, not much here. Tomorrow, not much. We have earnings for Nvidia tomorrow. That's going to be a big thing there. Then we got Thursday unemployment. So not much in terms of scheduled news. Friday's a big day for not only the U.S. but Europe as well. Europe and the pound. So a lot of stuff happening on Friday in Europe. All right. So the big news thing, if you will, is going to be Nvidia post after market close, post close. So after close Wednesday, tomorrow, Nvidia earnings. That's the big one there. Just real quick, I will bring this up. As always, with Trade Phantoms, demand, supply, institutional demand, institutional supply. Okay, with a backdrop of monthly, weekly, daily, higher time frames, multiple time frame analysis. Okay, it's not about one time frame; it's about multiple time frame analysis. Orange, yellow, blue, kind of the color code that you'll see. So anything you see in orange will be associated with the monthly time frame. Yellow is the weekly time frame. Blue is daily time frame. Couple of candlesticks here. Formation. Location, I should say, being most important. Bullish candlesticks, we talk about this with more time. Location of bearish candlesticks being most important, typically as supply zones in the context of downtrends. Okay, and then the liquidity map, my favorite thing on the planet. Okay, we talk a lot about this. We trade this live, right? So get to the charts, which is why we're here. All right, think or swim here. Switches over to the major four indexes. All right, so even though we're starting with the monthly, the weekly, and the daily time frame, I have the daily time frame S&P futures upper left, NASDAQ upper right, Dow Jones lower left, and we got the Russell 2000 bottom right down in here. Okay, so as you can see, we got as it stands right now, Russell 2000 is down about 1.17% so far. That's the stronger, or I should say, the weaker one. Okay, weakness. Okay, we got Dow Jones second to that, NASDAQ down 0.8, S&P's down 0.75. Open this chart up, and kind of as expected, we after this big rally up that we had post-election, kind of based out a little bit, a couple days, and then we kind of really opened up on Friday. Okay, we really opened up. VIX was spiking pretty decent. All right, for the day, we had negative what's called GEX, GEX, negative GEX, and we had a nice little drop down. Okay, on Friday. Okay. That's where you see that red candle right there. Now, we did have a couple of zones here, right? We had the rising 20 people moving average here. Okay, we had a couple of demand zones in here. We were talking about the in the trade room on Friday. We were having this come down below the 5900 area. Okay, down into the 5888 area. All right, ended up putting a low for that Friday, about 75, 76 handle, give or take. And then we kind of rallied up a little bit just for the end of the day. Okay, no big deal. Now, the reason why I bring that up is yesterday it's kind of quiet in the market, right? Pretty much quiet for the most part regarding futures. We had a little small bar here, right? Wick higher, wick lower. The point that I'm trying to make here is that it was inside of Friday's day. So yesterday was a kind of slow, kind of beginning of the week, kind of Monday put in. All right, now we finally get some movement here too, coming out of just this candle, yesterday's high, yesterday's low, right? And that, that's off the back of course, Russia and Ukraine right now, kind of going back at it, right? A little bit there. Okay, so yeah, right now as it stands, we're down, right? So if we were to continue down, of course, we're going to map out our levels. Okay, if we come lower down in here, we're going to investigate these areas over here. There is some price points and levels on this. All right, you might not be able to see it on the gray background, but we'll get to the darker background in a moment. I think I mentioned this on YouTube as well. Not sure how in depth I went to it, but I was talking a bit about the SPX collar trade of JP Morgan. Okay, 60.55. All right, so even if we were to rally, wasn't really expecting too much up here. Okay, even if we did rally, but we have a drop down. Okay, we have a drop down right after impulsion move. We have a drop down coming. Okay, and I did mention this, I believe, as well. The just drawing like a simple kind of off this new high segment here. Where are we in the context of correction? Right, we have this major unfilled gap here from the election evening. Okay, from Tuesday evening going into Wednesday, the day after. So there's a massive SPX and SPY and QQQ gap fill down here. Okay, even right now, futures are kind of taking a clip lower right now, trading 58.60s. Okay, so as it stands right now, we'll be gapping outside here. I'll get to the gaps in a moment. All right, but we'll be gapping, SPYs right now. Pre-market quote is down in here. Okay, so we're in the gap abyss, if you will, for this gap fill. Okay, next thing we're touching 61.8 correctional move here. So we're kind of getting deeper down into this correctional move here. All right. So yeah, we're gonna look at the ES to see what's below that gap, okay? So I'll go quicker here. All right, NASDAQ, for the most part, similar to the same thing. We kind of rallied up after post-election. We base, and we're getting a drop down, okay? NASDAQ was a little bit more weaker than the S&P, okay? But same thing, we were inside day yesterday in terms of Monday. So far, we're trying to click down lower, but we do have some levels down in here that we have to investigate, okay, of what we're coming down into. All right, Dow Jones and Russell. We have a couple traders in the room that took a Russell short coming into that weekly level because it did not make new highs, all-time highs. So that's working out very nicely. All right, good job on that. All right, I'll get to the darker background here. Let me see, and I'm going to do the, of course, monthly, weekly, daily. So I got monthly here on the left. I got weekly in the middle. I got daily here on the right. So monthly, weekly, daily. And yeah, so you see that here. Okay, so the S&P futures. I have the 60-minute time frame here, upper left, 30-minute time frame here, bottom left, 5-minute here, 2-minute here. Okay, so you can see even just as we're speaking right now, anybody already short S&P futures? Nice little clip down move. We got the Globex high, Globex low. All right, I was already trading a little bit of futures this morning, so I already mapped out the Globex high, Globex low. So I'm on a 1-hour time frame of the S&P futures, 1-hour time frame. Okay, one of the first things you want to do is map out our Globex high, which is right here, represented by that blue line right here. Okay, so this is the gray space here. Okay, and hey Jo, good to see you, brother. In and out. We have a Globex low that was put in at 4 a.m., but we just updated that because we just made another new low. Okay, so S&P futures just took a clip down. Okay, this is the 1-hour time frame of the 1-hour time frame of the S&P futures. Okay, and so I have a Globex low here now that just got put in. All right, now if you notice over here to the left, right? So Globex trap would be okay if I have a Globex low here, Globex high here. If we break lower and if it's entering into a level of high quality institutional level of demand, okay, that could be where we have what's called a trap. Okay, where people who are selling short, chasing price, red bar down, okay, coming into a level of high quality level of institutional demand, okay, that could be where, especially in the context of an overall major uptrend, okay, which the S&P still is an overall major uptrend, right, NASDAQ as well. So we are, pulling back, okay, markets just can't go straight up. So it's still the pullback segment, all right, coming off the all-time high, coming off the all-time highs, right? So now we got to be careful with this, right? Now there is, something in the background going on in terms of, I don't want to get over sensitive regarding it, but it is real stuff that's going on in Ukraine and Russia, of course, right? We have to put everything into perspective, right? But I don't want to be too like, oh my God, the World War III type deal and sell short. You still want to trade and be in control. All right. The point that I'm trying to make is, we do have some levels of demand right below here. That comes in at about what, 58, call it 25. Okay, 58.25, call it. All right. And then 58.05. Okay. 58.05 in S&P futures. Now, I will say this as well. In addition to that, okay, we have the even number at 58. Okay. Now, could there be stop losses right below that even number of 5,800 S&P futures and right below that demand zone right here to the left? In other words, if I break this, if I make this a bit more bigger, I'm focusing right here where my cursor is. Okay, so we have an impulse, a basing, and we have an impulse right here, right? Impulse, basing, impulse, where this green box is highlighted here. Okay, nice rally out. Okay, regular trading hours as well. Okay, now that comes in at about what, 5,800, as you can see in there, 5,800, right? Now I drew the line at 58.05. Okay, but if we go deeper in here, we have 5,800. Okay, as well. Could we, especially if we get some momentum continuation? Okay, could we punch below here? Could we punch below here? Yes or no? We could punch potentially below here. So I don't want to have my stop loss right below there and be what's called a stop loss, liquidity sweep. Okay, does that make sense? So that comes in at about what, 57, call it 80, 87, 58, 80, 87s. That's fine, right? 57, 87s. All right, so you might want to, put your stop loss, give yourself some room here, okay? And you might even want to elect to maybe get deeper into the level for a potential bullish trade. Let me duplicate that drawing here. Put it down here. All right, so you might even want to put an entry here at call it 57, 95. Okay, to refine even more in here. Okay, because especially if we're going to be having a drop down with some momentum, and we were doing this on Friday, where we had the VIX spike and we were coming down into this level over here, right? We were doing this on Friday, 58.88. All right, now that's old now, right? But as markets were coming down, it seemed like it took forever for this to kind of like, hit and then, kind of just had a little small rally out of there. Okay, so just know that if the momentum is going to be, really strong and furious, kind of similar to Friday coming down, okay, you might not want to be so, what's the word I'm trying to say here? So aggressively trying to pick off the long, trying to pick off the bottom for today. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so you might want to let this come down into, right? Of course, if all things being equal, if this market continues to go down, I want to be riding shorts down. Okay, maybe long puts on SPYs, SPX, long puts on Qs. Short S&P, Nasdaq futures. Okay, and as we're coming down, I'll be buying a cover down into this demand zone. Okay, and I want to remain, short, lighten up my shorts, take profit aggressively, all right, but maybe still remain shorts, have a couple of, runners on, what have you, see how far we can go down in here, so maybe potentially flush out, and then I'd be more conservative, okay, with trying to elect to get long, right? Does that make sense? Okay, we want to let that potentially flush out, okay? So my phantoms would know this on Friday, how we kind of managed that, okay? We were getting, we were riding shorts on NASDAQ and QQQs. Okay, then we started to get a little bit of a bullish, SPX, a little bit of bullish SPY, some bullish S&P futures for the, the late day rally. Okay, well, I wouldn't really call that much of a rally, but we had a little bounce out of there. All right, so anyways, I don't spend too much time on that. There's the levels, okay? And of course, we just had a hourly bar close, and, obviously my phantoms know that this is a massive, negative CRG, so we might be able to get some continuation lower down in here. Okay, we just put in a new Globex low as we stand right now. Okay, so if you are short, just make sure you take a profit on these little new swipe lowers here. Okay, on these new lows. All right, so that's going to be a pretty interesting level there, to say the least, for today. All right. So yeah, I don't want to put my stop loss right below the 57.90. Okay, so I want to be a bit below that. There's a level on level right in here too, right below there. So you might want to put it below here. Call it like the 70, right below the 80 handle. So call it like 78, 79. All right, that'd be a little bit better. All right, and there's another level down in here too, like 75. But you got to play this. You got to play this 8600 level before that, right? It's still about, what, 55 handles away from that. Points, I should say, rather. If we do break Globex high here today, we do have a nice little spot right here for Globex trap short. Probably some stop losses up here. There's some levels on levels in here. All right, to keep it short and sweet. You know, I'll call 59.45 handle. There's level on level in here too. All right, decent little Globex trap short. All right, level on level in here. I would not want to put my stop loss right above there. In fact, I almost want to put an entry right there. Stop loss, have people get stopped out. And this could be a decent little Globex trap short, 59.55, even number, keep it short and sweet, simple. All right, G trap short. Okay, and of course, yeah, we did just break down a little bit there, right? So, you know, I would definitely want to pin this area here of this little nice little drop. There's VWAP2 right there, that white line, white dash line. Okay, so we might even just, we might even just, this would be the first area that of line of defense for the bears. All right, so yeah, chart's pretty clean for the most part. Nice movement. So when we got movement. Okay, NASDAQ, I can do that probably quicker here. Also gold's in play right now. So again, monthly, weekly, daily, we already kind of covered that. All right, this was Friday's fiasco. All right, nice big drop. We were riding cues down in here. Had a couple levels down in here. Right, great, pinned, hit. All right, next one is gonna be potentially down here. I wanna be a little careful with y'all for this one, so I want to go lower down here, 20,000, call it 100. Okay, 20,100 NASDAQ. So that would be lower down here into the daily. I know the lines are kind of a mess here, kind of crazy, right? But that would be lower down here on the daily, kind of close to last week's low. Well, no, I'm sorry, not last week's low, the election low, the election week low down in here. Okay, so there's some stuff down in here, okay, in NASDAQ futures, right? So Globex high, Globex low. If I were to stick to the process right here, there's the Globex low. We tagged this demand zone beautifully on Friday. As you can see, to the left. All right, boom, right in there. Impulse, spacing, impulse right in there, right? That was Friday's kind of low. I didn't catch the NASDAQ low. I was more S&Ps. We were riding this short. Anyways, that was Friday. This is today. And I say Friday because that was the trade room that we had on Friday. Phantoms, Globex high. So we have some supply up here. You know, yeah, we do. All right, Globex trap short. I'll just bring that over here to the right. Level on level in here too. All right. So we got some levels here. And we don't want to put my stop loss right there. Just want to be a bit more aggressive. There's some stop losses right in between these two zones here. All right, so just mapping out the zones here. All right, so there's level on level in here, folks. All right, so, you know, 20,900, 20,800. And, you know, I'm not going to put my stop loss right there because there's a level on level. There'll probably be some liquidity sweeping right there. All right, so I wanted to maybe get a little bit more higher up here. Okay, it was once demand kind of broke, right? Impulse, spacing, impulse, came down, met with some buyers, drop, base, drop. So it was once demand turned into supply over here on the other side. So if we break Globex high potentially here today, that would potentially be some. So if you're long, make sure you're taking some profit, and then you can elect to potentially get some negative bearish delta shorting up there. If we were to get lower down here, again, 20,100, I mean, you could pin this area right here, call it 20,000, maybe 250 handle. I mean, don't get me wrong. All right, there is something there, in all fairness. All right, call it the 250 NASDAQ futures. Again, same thesis where I was mentioning if we're coming down pretty aggressively, you want to rise some shorts. And maybe you want to take positive COGs, more confirmational trades down here. The 20,100 would be a bit more better down there. Okay, and I think there's an unfilled gap on QQQs as well down there. All right, is this level going to hold? All right, we just clipped a little bit below that really briefly there. All right, but just know that this is a retest to this. Okay, so that's not that's the second time back over here. So we got some better levels potentially down here. 20,100 being better. Okay, so 20,100 lower, 20,800, 20,900 higher up here. And of course, yes, same thing. Before I move on, we have this drop right here that just got put in. All right, with the VWAP right here. Okay, so yeah, that kind of has to be dealt with in the event that we kind of rally back up here. Okay, there's probably going to be a bull-bear fight again, right? Buyers and sellers are going to go at it. All right. If you want to be a little more aggressive, this would be a level where you can kind of lean against to see, how this level gets absorbed, okay, or not. All right, as we're rallying up. Okay. Let me see. Gold futures. So I got monthly, I got weekly, I got daily here on the right. Long story short here, came beautifully into this weekly level here, 25.41, give or take. I think the low is 25.41 and a half, couple ticks, right? That was that weekly level, pretty good level there. Okay, got the rising 20 trade moving average there as well as confluence on the weekly. Oops, not that. Okay, rising 20 pin moving average here, got this in yellow. All right, so monthly up, still weekly up, decent, right? So we came down to 2,500 in futures, right? 25.40, right? Having a nice little bounce out of there. The team was mentioning this, right? We were mentioning a lot of this. So we had red bar down, a little bit of a hammer bar, put in on Thursday, inside bar on Friday, and then yesterday being Monday, nice little pop out. And then we get some continuation, of course, here today. Okay, so Monday was a nice, being yesterday, okay, was a nice little green bar close, taking out these momentum red bars down. Again, coming into the weekly time frame here, right? So we talk a lot about painting bars, okay, and phantoms along with supply demand. All right, beyond the scope right now of this, but getting straight to the point. We've got the 60-minute here, 30-minute here, 5 here, 2 here, and mapping out the Globex high, Globex low. All right, so we were talking about this weekly level coming down in here. All right, right now we have a Globex high here. So far, Globex low here. All right, so we have this move right here from yesterday is a positive COG on the daily time frame. So we have daily coming down, bit of a hammer bar on the said daily, and S&P future, not S&P futures, on futures. All right, might be tough to see. It's that little hammer bar right here. Okay, right there. All right, then we had an inside day of that, and then yesterday popped. Okay, taking that green bar out. Now this is a good location, right? Weekly, coming out of weekly demand. Okay, nice little impulse, basing impulse on weekly demand. Okay, so this is good, right? So this is good, right? So this could provide some continuation. Now we to the upside, if this is going to hold, we do have a little bit of some daily supply up here that got put in a couple days ago to bring this gold market down. Okay, now if we were to short, is it still a? If we were to short gold, that's still going to be a counter trend trade on the monthly and the weekly. Okay, overall. Now the daily did kind of crack its impulse correction higher, low segment. Okay, so we did crack right here, right? So I'm sure, some people will even be painting a head and shoulders here. Here's the left shoulder, here's the head, potentially here's the right shoulder. We cracked down a little bit there, but we already broke down on the neckline, right? So just know that the monthly and weekly are still up. okay, pretty decently. Okay, the daily does have some daily supply that we would have to absorb to potentially for gold to make all new all-time highs. Okay, but it's going to be pretty interesting. I would expect it to maybe range out a little bit here between this low range here and potentially this high range here. Okay, so just because we had a steep pullback in 2 weeks does not mean that we're just going to get rallied right back up. 2 weeks. Okay, we have some stuff here that we have to absorb. Okay, in terms of supply. Okay. That being said, if we do get back down into this area here and deeper into the weekly, albeit this is still a beautiful place, okay, to get some bullish exposure, okay, not only for day trades but even for some swing trading and some longer term trading as well. If we break Globex high here today, I mean, do we have supply up here? We do, right? And I just mentioned that where even if this market were to have what's called a continuation over the past couple of days of that positive CRG on the daily time frame, we still have, this is all the stuff that we need to absorb. Okay, so in fact, this is kind of if I were to paint this kind of blue here, which I already kind of do have blue, so I guess I have blue inside of the red. So where's the blue? Right here. So this is more upper closer to the daily supply up here. All right, because I have that in blue. That's the color code, right? So I'm not sure if we're going to get up there today. Probably not, right? 2732 handle right here. We have the IBI right in here. Okay, and then Globex high. So we have a couple levels in here. I mean, don't get me wrong. All right, if you would have picked them off here, these are going to be fairly aggressive. So I'll keep that note there. 2675. It's going to be fairly aggressive. Again, why? Still macro picture uptrend. And we have some daily supply up here, but you'd want to be, these ones are going to be a little bit better because we're closer up, higher up into the daily supply. Up in here. Okay, so that's not until about call it 2725. All right, 2725 handle. All right, but these are fairly aggressive here for potentially today. Now, if you are already long, and even for like a swing or for a day trade, or even for a swing, if you're holding on to some contracts, I mean, if we do rally up here, this would be where you kind of want to maybe scale out of some swing as well. If you're taking it from like the weekly demand to some daily supply, that would be a nice little swing if you wanted to take some profit on that. All right, reduce some exposure, as I would expect some kind of pullback coming from this area here. So I'm expecting some kind of range here potentially. All right, just given the multiple time frame analysis here, monthly, weeklies, and dailies. All right, I'm on a 60-minute time frame now. I can't argue with this here. If we do break Globex low, do I have demand right below here? You bet you we do. All right, impulse basing, impulse right there. Impulse basing, little basing impulse move here, right? So that comes in about what, even number here, 26. And then we got 25, I'll call it 90, 25.90. So decent little demand zones right below Globex low in the event that we do get down here. All right, pretty simple. These are not bad lookings there. Not bad. All right, moving on, VIX. Okay, we got VIX up. So far, right now, off the back of Russia-Ukraine fiasco for this morning. Didn't even have the coffee yet over here in the U.S. and already fighting. People fighting. Peace. We all want peace. No fighting. So VIX up slightly. Not slightly, actually. It's up. 9% handle. All right, want to make sure that right, VIX up, market down, VIX down, market up, to keep it simple. Inverse correlation, volatility index of the S&P complex. 30-day implied vol of SPX options. More to it, but very simple. If the VIX is up or remains up and trends up, typically that's going to be more bearish for the market. Okay, so I'm mapping out the Globex high, Globex low on VIX as well. All right, so you can see the VIX was busy overnight. All right, this gray space is overnight sesh. So yeah, we got VIX up, VIX down, VIX up. All right, so kind of rocky here, right? So just be patient today, right, folks? Don't be so emotional. Make sure you pull your VWAPs. Make sure you're trading the tape. All right, as always. All right, now sector-wise, both sectors are red right now. So, this market's just overall in a deeper pullback, right? NASDAQ Qs. So most things are in the red right now. All right, a lot of outside gap downs on this as well. All right, with the S&P being down. Let me load GagSpot. Get that ready. All right, QQQs. Well, let me do SPY quote. SPY. Let's see. So as we stand right now, you might not be able to see it. It's very tough to see, but right now, pre-market quote, like right here, you can probably check that on your own screens there. All right, 584.19. All right, so we had, yesterday was an inside day, right? So we had a nice gap down on Friday, great, right? And then movement, right? We are in an area where we were once in a, right, all-time high. It is on the pullback area, okay? I'm sorry, the retest area, right? So we were talking a lot about this on Friday. I don't want to waste too much time on it right now, but we were talking about steeper pullbacks, things of that nature, right? So we are at what was once the all-time high, retesting to the other side. We came down a little bit below it. Okay. Right now, if we were to hold where we are right now, slight gap down. I mean, well, it's a decent little gap down. So we have a green bar close here. I shouldn't say slight. It's actually a decent one. So we have a green bar close here, and then right now we'd be gapping down right here. So that would be taking out this green bar from yesterday. Okay. But there's something called a mother bar. Friday being the mother bar of yesterday. So usually I like put these out in purple here, right? So there's Friday's high, there's Friday's low, which happens to be last week's low as well, right in here. Okay, so even though we are gapping down below yesterday's low and green bar closed yesterday, we're still inside of Friday's mother bar. It's called the mother bar, right? So I mean, we'll see though, right? So we got VIX up 9%. So we'll see if we can have some continuation, all right, as mentioned in even in futures. Okay, but that doesn't just mean that this market's just gonna, just continue and just die down, right? So always trade the tape. But that is a fairly decent gap. Okay, that is a fairly decent gap down. Okay, it would be even better if we took out the mother bar, which could still potentially happen. Qs, similar. All right, now the irony with today is the QQQs, slight gap down, green bar close here on yesterday being Monday. Again, mother bar being on Friday. Okay, put that into perspective. We're still basically like right here right now today, right? The illustration. All right, we're basically like right here. So we broke out new all-time high. Okay, and then we're pulling back. Okay, so we're here. If that makes sense. Okay, of course we have an unfilled gap still right down in here on QQQs. That's worthy to take note of. About 492 handle, give or take. Okay, unfilled gap. Okay, NASDAQ is trying to fill its gap a bit more, right, from the gap. Gap up on election, great. So last week's low. So we'll see. I mean, we have some demand down in here too. All right, this is kind of like the level in control, the level that was holding up right before election for the new pop out. Okay, so naturally it's going to provide some kind of support, demand, if you will. All right, not there yet. All right, have that on your radar. All right, as far as a gap down, not as aggressive as SPYs. All right, but slight gap down, yes, albeit still inside of Friday's bar. IWM, outside gap. So see how IWM yesterday was an inside day, but IWM's pre-market quote's down in here. So IWM outside gap lower, it's a bit more weaker. Unfilled gap being right there. Put that on your radar, I would suggest. All right, IWM is the Russell 2000 ETF. All right, this is not last week's high. Whoa, this is yesterday's high. Last week's high is up here. Okay, cool. All right, so IWM a bit of the weaker one here in terms of the major 4 indexes. Dollar index coming off its monthly high range that it's been in for like 2-3 years. Monthlies. Gold, we already talked a little bit about gold. Sold some puts on this. These are going to be actually going to take some profit on these today. So we already talked a little bit about gold. Long story short here for the ETF, a little bit more cleaner. You know, I was kind of hoping that gold got down a bit more lower down here. This is the GLD weekly time frame of gold ETF. All right, so you can trade it shares, options on this thing, shares, and then you got futures. Yeah, SMCI finally trying to iron out its accounting malpractices. Trying to iron it out. I bought a little shares on it. They were down. I should have, I eased up on accumulating. There's just a lot more better stuff out there. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. If you did get into some shares or some options, it's trying to come up off of that level. GLD does have this massive unfilled gap here as well. In addition to everything that I was mentioning in gold futures, I would put this on your radar as well as a massive unfilled gap here on GLD ETF. All right, pre-market quote here. All right, so we're still inside of last week's high, last week's low. So, have that on your radar. Yeah, I'm in MBLY, loading up a little bit on that. Bonds, in bonds as well. We got in bonds over here, 11.6. Apple, it's been a mess. I'm just going to go over some FANG stocks here. Apple, it's been a mess. Almost not even worth our time. On what ticker? Santo, King Santo. What ticker shouted in? I'll take a quick peek at it for you, brother. Amazon. TLT, I think you was mentioning it. It might have been TLT for Santo. This is an outside gap. Mortgage gap would be if this was red bar close, red bar close down. Oh, on GLD. Let me go back to GLD. It's a island continuation. This is a mortgage. This one right here from yesterday is a mortgage. So we had red bar, and then we had a red bar right from red bar close in the context of macro up, close to weekly demand, right, of futures. And then we had red bar close, and then we had a gap up clearing the prior red bar. So yes, yesterday into today, Friday's close into yesterday being Monday was a nice mortgage gap. Okay. Now today it's continuation, island continuation. All right, so just be careful because last week's high here, major unfilled gap here, and there could be some liquidity sweeping right over here. All right, so just because we're gapping up does not mean that we're just going to fly up. Remember, S&P future. Keep on saying S&P. Gold futures has some levels that we're coming up into the massive unfilled gap here, and we got this monthly VWAP right here, November 1 monthly VWAP hanging right here as well. All right, and if you look left, I mean, this was an area of like breakout demand, took one day, and then we had a rally up off of it. Okay, then we had a gap down, so we cleared it already, but there just could be some what was once demand, some flip side supply on the other side here. Does that make sense? Again, there's a lot of gap and stuff on the GLD. I hate emails. Don't email me. I hate emails. Just catch me live. I can't stand emails. At least I'm being honest. Uh, 2,700 supply, yes, we do. That's up there. Yep, we have something there. Drop base drop there. All right. Amazon, nothing too crazy here. I will say outside gap down. Yes. But we're coming into some demand right there, so I want to be a little careful on that. Could flush out a bit more. Google had a nice little close yesterday. You know, they're trying to dismantle, they're coming after Google, the feds. So it's just been in the news lately. Yesterday was a nice little trade off this because we had a nice little pro gap up. Percent right, percent wrong is the going off my analysis was right or wrong. What would be in scenario ITP 1-to-1? They got stopped out. I break even. Am I wrong or right? So that's a little bit more heavier. But percent right or wrong, if you get 1-to-1 and you stop out at break even, that's a that's a what 0.5 to 1. Right. So Jason, maybe tomorrow, if you catch me live, and if you catch me live tomorrow, I can maybe talk a little bit more about that in that room. Is that fair? Because it'll go by the aggregate, right? Like let's say you're in like 3 contracts, and then you're taking one off at 1-to-1, maybe you're taking another one off at 2-to-1, and maybe you took one off at 3-to-1. As an aggregate, what's the total RR ratio to the total risk that you were taking, and then that would be overall like a 1-to-1, 2-to-1, 3-to-1. What's the math on that? 3 plus 2 equals 5 plus 6. 5 by 3, probably like a 2-to-1, 2.25 to 1. Like if you took profit at like 1-to-1, 2-to-1, 3-to-1, 3 contracts, it aggregates out to probably like a, what, 2.5 to 1, give or take. Okay, and then that would be the overall, right? Like if you took all out just at 3-to-1, that would, all right, all out of 3-to-1, that would be a 3-to-1 risk reward ratio as an aggregate, right? So scaling, you have to put it as an aggregate in totality, in total. All right, let's see. So MSTR on fire, Microsoft annoying. I'm long NVIDIA for earnings for the record. AMD got some long AMD yesterday as well. I do not like this gap. That's a profit take. All right, let's see what we can find here in the morning. Advanced declines, negative 1,400, plus or minus 2,000 would be extreme. It's kind of down there. Early out the gate. Volatility still very early. First print, not closed yet, but negative 3.8, which is fairly extreme. Positive and negative 3 would be extreme, so that's fairly extreme for now. Microsoft, one of the weaker ones, but it's coming into the daily 200 moving average. I have to be careful with that one. Amazon, as mentioned, gap down, but we're coming into some demand, so I want to be careful with that one too, unfortunately. All right, I do like the formation of, this would be beautiful if NVIDIA can put in a daily bar, green bar close. That would be a nice formation, pull back in a weekly that I was wanting. Took some small losses on NVIDIA last week. Should have just did all November 29th expiration. So anyways, this would be a nice formation if we can get a green bar close today. That would be a nice little V there. Tesla only had one little pump yesterday off the autonomous driving there. TSM. I'm already kind of loaded up on semis because I got NVIDIA and AMD. This one not too bad. S&P futures coming up into its VWAP for the day to balance out that news or that drop. So not really sticking out at me really briefly out the open. Maybe some Google here might be holding some bullish exposure on that bar. AVGO, one of the weaker ones. Hammer bar yesterday off the rising 20 on the weeklies. NOC. NOC decent here inside of some weeklies, rising 20 here. Nasty negative COG close on the weeklies here, but we got daily 200 pin moving average right here, and we have a nice little pro gap up. Not sure how quick the options are. Pretty expensive stock. Oh man, the options are terrible on this, unfortunately. Unfortunately. I mean, the spread, the bid-ask spread is insane. 50 by 730, that's insane. $3 by 9. So the options are terrible to trade on it. So you have to buy shares, and that's an expensive stock, but decent little setup there. Costco. Costco, nice little positive COG close yesterday. Just a little continuation. This might be good for a little swing trade too on this. Giving you a little something there on the 5 to lean against. But I want to be a little careful with bullish exposure. That one's not bad. For the day trade, I want to be a little careful, especially I'm not going to be able to be here to manage things with you folks here, but you know, Costco's in alignment pretty decent there. That's what positive COG closed yesterday. We need some follow through on that for the swing. BA, Boeing. The stock's so boring for me. All right, Google trying to hold up bids. That would be the bullish exposure if SPYs were to hold said bids. For weakness, you know, AVGO still inside of yesterday's late day kind of, you know, just the late day kind of range stuff. Yesterday in AVGO was kind of rangy. So it's not the greatest setup, but Walmart on fire. Walmart never goes down. That's a pro gap up. Earnings. All right, Google's giving us a 1, 2, 3 go potentially here. So I know it sounds crazy, but long call in Goog. If we pick up the 177.5, they're going for about $1.82 for a day trade here. that Google? All right, just pick these up for about $1.92. Let me see, Qcom's on my list. It's been dry as of late, but let's see. Also looking at some potentially some Bitcoin plays. All right, Nvidia looking good. Nvidia trying here. Yeah, there's a gap fill on Google 177 here. Somebody typed in another ticker, but I missed it. Oh, Qualcomm. Man, Qualcomm's just, what can I do here, man? It's tough. This is a daily time frame. This thing's been stuck since summer. So it's just stuck. It's just stuck. I like the stock, but it's just stuck. Stuck. All right. So still looking good for Nvidia. I added to Nvidia yesterday. Microsoft, one of the weaker ones there, but it's on the daily 200, so that's danger zone. JP Morgan. JP Morgan's been on fire. We've been actually catching longs all last week. Post earnings, good. This is still, man, it's kind of crazy to say, but we're still, look at this. This is the gap up from election, post-election day, not election, earnings. I'm sorry, no, election. I apologize, election. I'm right about that, election. Apologies on that. So we're still inside of that bar, but we've been getting long here, right? Now we have a little down move here today, but it's, look at the monthly, weekly, we're still inside bar. I mean, is this a decent demand? I mean, is it a good, high quality level of demand right here? No, not really. But, you know, we've been doing very well on JPM. Today, it's in a tough little spot. All right, Nvidia looking good. Earnings tomorrow. All right, Google new high. SPY's super quiet. Are we bearish today? I don't know. I'll let the tape tell me. I'll let the tape tell me. Right now I'm flat, SPY's. And right now we're above daily view up. So if I want to short, I want to be below daily view up. Weekly view up is just from yesterday so far, and then we got our last month's view up. So we'll see. Internals. You know, not for nothing, but we got the VIX kind of hanging out here. I want to see if the VIX is dead smack in its middle, right? So VIX had a spike up, spike down, spike up. Now we're kind of back down. Yeah, MSTR is on fire. MSTR is on fire, so that's a Bitcoin play. This is Bitcoin. Heavy take profit on this. So we'll see if Bitcoin can pop out new high. Mara riot. Yeah, SMCI, we had these couple levels here, pinned out 25, 21, 17. Kind of came deeper down, filled this gap. We're up off that. Right now, open interest negative GEX, but positive GEX on volume. Oh, that's okay. Same thing here. We have some void here above. It's the gap filling SPX 58.95. 58.95. Yeah, bit right here. So there's just some void here. There's some void here. There's really not much up here, up into the gap fill here. So we could potentially fade higher if we remain above VWAP. I guess some sold calls 59.85, 59.85. So this is all call delta, but it's going to be negative call delta. Yeah, I could see that potentially happening potentially. The 14 area, it's still fairly strong. So you have to get by the 95 here, the gap fill. And right now we are above its opening day print bar. All right, daily VWAP. So we are above, right here we have positive COG. All right, so it's trying. All right, Google new high, TP. All right, take some profit on Google. So I got a 210 fill. Yeah, I'm hoping that I'm going to talk a little bit about that tomorrow, King Santo. So far, it seems good to go for that GAX training. All right, just make sure you TP some Google. You can see SPYs are having a hard time to fall through to the upside there. All right. AVGO, the one that's breaking down a little bit there, more of the weaker one. You can see SPYs are trying to break down a bit. I've been long Nvidia for earnings November 29th. I've been long for like weeks now. I ended up pressing a little bit last week and took a couple of small losses on the press last week for last Friday's expiration, which was the 15th. So those expired worthless. So I think like $1.55. The other one was like what, $2.05 or something like that. But I still have my original earnings trade on, and then I added to it yesterday for the team. With the team, I had mentioned that if we get down here, I'm looking to add on it. So everything is earnings for November 29th expiration. So I added as we were coming down into this area here yesterday. So I'm long. November 29th expiration. I got the, what do I have? I have the 150 strike, I got the 155 strike, I got the 162 half strike, I even got a little 160 strikes. So basically like 150, 155, 160, 162 half. But the 150s, we accumulated lower, got those at like 380 in terms of call premium, and then I got another fill at 530s. So they're painting 402 right now. They're, slightly, overall the whole trade slightly down. The one that I added in yesterday is up a little bit, and then all the ones, they're just slightly down right now, but it's an earnings play. So, obviously I'm bullish, so as we're coming down into, I got the monthly, the weekly, the daily, I'm seeing if we can get a nice bump up to maybe 150, 155 on NVIDIA. SPYs are breaking down a little bit here. So that, looks like might be a continuation for some bot puts. VIX spike up. Nothing too crazy, but it's on an uptick. I'm probably missing a little bit of AVGO too. All right, this is building up. So they're going. This 50 handle is going to be something that you gotta pay attention to. All right, so you see we have this, we just took a bounce off, so 50 is gonna be a little bit of a bounce here. SPX just went 55 handle on that. So right below yesterday's low. So see how this absorbs. There's not much here in the middle. It's in the abyss. That 5850 is going to be an area that would have to get taken out if this is really going to go and build some steam lower. NetGax is positive, so it's not like Friday where it was negative so far. So you're going to see if that's going to have to just be a flush. What's going to be continuation? 7 minutes, we get the first 2-minute bar print, close. Today's interesting because we have negative GEX on open interest, but we have positive GEX coming in volume right now, so a little choppy here. Convexity's down a little bit. So yeah, be patient on indexes. A little rangy right now. All right, if it's below daily view up, you can work it. Fang stock's kind of all over the place too. That's MSTR. MSTR is trying to go. Just gotta be careful with MSTR because when this thing drops, it drops pretty fierce. But MSTR looking good. I wouldn't be surprised if they squeeze above. If they squeeze above 400 today. Options are fairly expensive on this. Spread could be annoying too on it. It's expiring in 3 days and they're a couple grand. So MSTR is a beast. But the tape's pretty decent. Bearish exposure is definitely going to have to be AVGO. Which is not super ideal because of the monthly, weekly, daily is still up. The only thing I don't like about it is we're on the rising 20 on the weekly. So I'm going to go look for some swings. Sector rotation, folks. There's really nothing that's really you know, jumping out of the map on me here right now. All right, maybe look to do some maths on what I got on the. I already got a really good idea of what I got on NVIDIA, but I might be looking at maybe add potentially today if I see fit. But nothing's really sticking out at me here other than MSTR, if you got the wherewithal for it. I mean, you could, it'd be the area location too, do that. We'll view up here. You know, Google's in it's trying to work out to go higher. It's kind of just in its it's just in its correctional phase right now. Overall, but it's trying to poke its head. SE. Not bad here. Monthly, weekly, daily. Up, nice little positive COG. Pulled back. This is trying to go here. SE. It's trying to. Options quid. They're okay. This is trying to go today. If you pick up maybe the 111, I don't really know this stock that much, but the options are fairly okay. Spread's not too bad. $15-minute. Big hammer bar where? Up here. It doesn't mean anything to me. Just as a gap fill. Let's just, if that's the thing right there. All right, I'm gonna go, folks. Dash. Monthly, weekly, daily up. Dash might not be too bad. Last week, a little bit of a doji. So if we kind of base here, we could potentially have a base break here, but there's some open space here. Outside of standard deviation on the monthly, tag on the weekly there. We did come down off it on the daily, which is good. So I map out my last week's high, last week's low, which is that hammer bar right there. Just know that we could fade a little bit more lower down in here. That's all. So you might want to, there's kind of a plan A, plan B here. All right, plan A would be, okay, if we get a nice little confirmed close above this red bar that got put in on Friday, we might be able to get some continuation here. All right, that's plan A. But I'd want to hold, you know, the defense line kind of like right here, right? Because this is all open space on weekly. So plan B would be, okay, we could come down, down into here on weeklies. Right, so there might be a better entry if we come down, we pull down. We also have what was once the monthly supply here, flipped on the other side. That comes in about like 140. Down in here. Let's make that orange. Okay, so right now it's in momentum fast. It's kind of up there a little bit on the monthlies and weeklies outside of 2 standard deviations, but the dailies pulled back a little bit, base. We could be able to get we might be able to get a little punch higher. Could work on that with the understanding that, hey, you know, we could come down lower on the weekly and retest our monthlies at 140s. Down in here, there's a monthly low, 140 handle. Does that make sense? All right, what a snooze fest right now, but stay strapped because markets can open up at any moment, right? So paint your bars. First 30-minute bar, low and high is in. All right. index trying to creep a little bit there. Negative GEX coming in a little bit more aggressively. Puts are being added, calls are being subtracted. For right now. That SPX 50 handle. So you'd want this to be building up if this market was really going to go down more, but they're not. It's not really building up that much. The 58.50, I know it might be hard to see. This is 58.50 right here. SPX. So it's kind of dry right now. You want to see these build. So just gotta be patient. If we can get some closes, closes like on the 2 minute to maybe 5 minute time frame, what have you, below here. Give me some juice, but right now we don't really have that. Very choppy right now, right? Right. So just be patient. Let it develop. Let it develop. All right. Knowing when to not do something is very important. Yeah, I'm upsetting myself a little bit. I've been trading Tesla. I came off one of my best trades of the year on election, and then the next week I traded it so terrible. Should follow your rules. But yeah, Tesla looking good for, it's actually trying to go through and follow through to the upside. It's up there on the radar for bullish. Kind of random gap up yesterday from the autonomous driving, news there, but it's trying to work out. It's trying to work. Bullish here. It's trying to. Actually, still have to update a couple of Tesla trades on the Excel sheet. Sold call 365. Well, I own it in my long-term portfolio. Like just for me, I'm not selling calls because I don't want to cap it. I don't want to cap my gain. As you can see, Tesla rips when it goes, right? So, that's just me personally. But yeah, if you're looking to sell calls, cover calls against it, I'd focus on the extremely high time frame, like the monthlies and weeklies. Implied vol still fairly high because it's just the overlay from everybody's trading Tesla these right now, right? So implied vol is fairly high. So yeah, I mean, if you want to work on these, you could potentially work on these, but be diligent on these, okay? I made a mistake last week, and I gave back like a full 10 points. Not too happy about that. Oh, GEXBot sold call. Let me check it out. So we don't know if it's a cover call or not. I know that it'd be the customer from customer standpoint. Tesla. Let's see. Like for this week, yeah, I mean, so 265. So that they're sold calls from a customer standpoint. So they could just be sold call naked. They could be covered call. We don't know. But if you're selling calls, that's still going to be what bearish, right? Still bearish. And even if you did sell a call and you own stock, you sold a covered call. You're like, okay, well, I'm not expecting Tesla to get above 365. And these are this week's expiration, so it might not. Don't get me wrong. But usually, like 265 is like right here, right? So somebody might just be either selling calls here to be bearish, okay? And that's just not one person, by the way, too, right? I'm sure, right? Right, to be bearish, or they could do a spread where they sold a call and they bought a call for a potential spread. Right now, the unmatched inventory is skewed, right? So I mean, there might be sold one here, bought one here, right? But there's no really bought one. There's bought one is 375. So that might be some offset spread right there. You know, some people might be buying deep out of the money calls on Tesla up here, right? So that's building up a little bit there. So even if I, like, for example, like I own Tesla for my long-term portfolio, I'm not selling covered calls against it. Why? Because if I don't want to cap my gain, right? So even if you sell calls against it, even though you own calls, I don't want to cap my gain, because what if Tesla goes on another pump and goes up to 400, right? Now I have sold calls at 365, so I just gave, I'm going to get called away. So I missed on all this nice little profitable gain right there. So even if you sell covered calls against it, it's still, I don't want to say bearish, you're generating some income off your long shares, okay? But still, like if it does get above here and the options expires and these are now in the money, okay? Hypothetically, if Tesla's trading 380s and you sold the 365 call, you're gonna get put away. I mean, you're gonna get called away, and then you only take it from where your long shares are, from where you sold the put, which would be 365. Right, so I'm not doing that in my long-term portfolio. Heck no, because I want Tesla. I want the. I don't want to get called away. Right, that's just me personally. Right, if I did that over here, pre-election and pre-earnings, because we caught this on earnings, I lost a little bit of money on the robo-taxi event. All right, we caught earnings up beautifully, right, and then we caught election up beautifully, right. So if I was selling cover calls that whole time, I would be pissed right now. All right, because yeah, maybe I would collect some premium at 300 or 310 or something like that. But we just kissed a couple days ago 350s, 360s, right? So that's just me personally. I'm gonna let those calls rip. Let those shares rip, right? And that could actually be a squeeze too, right? That's the thing. So all those sold calls, that could be a squeeze, right? So if we get above there. That's what happened. I saw somebody just sold massively the some sold calls here, and I'm like, a lot. They had a lot. I'm like, man, if this thing squeezes up, they're screwed. So that actually would have been one of the Tesla had one of the biggest squeezes that you can get. It's a record. That was a record-breaking squeeze, short squeeze. So just be careful. All right, that's it. So if you want a little bit more about this, go to TradePhantoms.com. Always Mr. Blue here. I went a little bit over time. Click the register button there, and you'll, put your email, name, all that kind of good stuff, right? November 21st, which is this Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's kind of an agenda here. What's on the agenda in terms of what you'll learn. Okay, about 90 minutes, give or take. Okay, how markets work from professionals. Trading for income, short term, right, all the way to managing your long term wealth. Kind of, we do it all here, right? Stocks, futures, forex, options. So it's not just about stock. All asset classes, even including crypto. Okay, if you're trading out small, if you're just starting out trading a small account, all the way up to if you're managing long term wealth with that, the big wealth, the big bucket accounts, right? All right, cool. That being said, I'll see some of y'all later today in the in the class, and then all things being equal, tomorrow live trade room. God willing, and then we got NVIDIA earnings tomorrow post close. So that's going to be a major event, and we'll see. Okay, for the record, bullish going into that event, as mentioned. All right, God bless. Take care. Trade safe. Blue out.